Hello, everyone. This is Sean, and welcome to episode number 1 of our Transport Fever Norfolk Central Let's Play. I have started up a new map here. Actually, I started it a little while ago. You can see here it's 1856, so I'm actually 6 years into this map. I played what was it, Train Fever, the previous game in this series, and I had a lot of complaints about it, but it was pretty fun, and I do love trains, and I find Transport Fever is pretty similar, not quite as annoying as Train Fever was in some ways, but still just as annoying in other ways. But I do think it's a better game. So I have a lot of fun with it. And I understand the basic strategies of making money. It does seem to be a little harder to make money in Transport Fever, but I haven't played Train Fever in however many years it's been since it came out, 2 years, 3 years. So, I can't say that I'm an expert or anything, but I used to be able to play on the hard difficulty. In this game, we're playing on the medium difficulty because this is only my fourth try. This is my fourth map. Um, my first one crashed and burned right away because this game you can't just start out. My second one I did pretty well. I made it to 1900, and then I went broke because replacing and maintaining trains is very expensive at that point. My third game, I crashed and burned, and so I started this fourth one, and I feel like I've got a pretty good idea on how to do well here, but I don't know yet. At this point, we are making money though. So I've made money for the last few years. I did spend a lot of money last year, but we're going to find out. I'm basically going to go through everything that I spent all this money on. Um, but we should be making a profit at this point. I've only taken out a $5 million loan, so I've still got $5 million that I can borrow if I want to. But on the other hand, I don't really like having to pay a lot of loan interest. I'm paying 50% loan interest, and I'm only making 100 and whatever $1,000 profit. So I could increase my profits by a third if I eliminated that loan interest. Um, so I don't mind taking on debt, but to be honest, replacing trains gets extremely expensive later on. So I'm going to want to work down my debt. On the other hand, we're gonna get it up to a $10 million debt here as soon as this game starts going because I've got the bare bones of what we need to make a profit set up, and what we're gonna do is try to increase that profit dramatically. Um, but it's really important to have like slow and steady growth, which is what I've tried to set up here. So I, we're playing on a large map. I don't quite know how that's going to work out recording the video, so we're going to see how long this series lasts. I could end up going broke at some point, so I don't know. You'll know how long this series lasts most likely by the time anybody watches this. But if you're watching it as I post them, we'll find out. I'm gonna do my best. Um, but I'm also not going to be constantly expanding. There's probably going to be quite a bit of slow time. It's kind of a slow game to begin with, and I don't really want to screw it up by trying to speed things along. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But let's take a look at what I've got done so far. So I started on this map, and it's a large map. It's really huge. Oh yeah. So I don't know how that's going to affect performance. I did pretty well on the medium map I played that made it to 1900. Um, but I didn't run into any lag or anything. I had about 200 vehicles going, but that was on a medium map, and I wasn't recording it. So we'll see what those factors mean on a large map. And if it starts getting slow, that's all right. It's not like we're going to be doing the best here anyways. So the second series will probably be better. But anyways, there's a basic look at the map. I chose this area for two reasons. I looked at Norfolk and Clarksville as my original towns to connect because they had basically a nice flat area between them, so it was really easy to connect them. And that is where I started. So typically when I want to set up a rail connection, I go through, I built this road here because I looked at uh, so here's the residential area. Those are going to be the people that are using the train, and then commercial and industrials over here. So that's where I'm going to want to put my freight rail later on if I do that. So I connected up these roads to make this little bow here, and that's where I put my train station. And then I set up the bus. Oh, okay. See, I need to expand this bus network here already because I originally set up just these two stops, but the town has grown quite a bit since I left it to run on its own. Um, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to explain how I set this up at the very beginning. So I set these two stops up. The town was quite a bit smaller, and I set up this train station. And then I just set 4 buses to go back and forth between those 2 stops. So you can see, of course, they're not buses. They're these, but you know what I mean, the little passenger things. They're still not really carrying many passengers. That one's got 3. That one's got 4. So I guess we've got a few passengers going on. And we've got a few passengers waiting, but the basic idea is I want to prime the pump to get the passengers flowing here. And I will make money eventually, but right now it's, you got to lose a little money to make money. I guess we can show the lines here. So I have a little key for the lines, and I'll put that in the notes of the video, but O stands for road vehicles, P stands for passengers, and then that's the city code. So Norfolk is going to be the road passenger Norfolk, so this green one right here. So I set that up. It's only got 2 stops. Then I went over to the other side of this, which is Clarksville, and I set up the Clarksville road passenger line right there. And so here you can see I built that curved road along the outside here so I could get the train station outside of town. If we look at the values here, so I tried to set it near the passenger area. I guess putting it over here would have been more in the passenger area, but maybe there was concerns. No, the land looks pretty flat. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's in a good passenger area. It also people will be able to get to work and everything. But the point is, I set up a bus route to go around it and did that, and then got a few buses going on it to get the passengers moving. And then I connected one train on this train line here, which T stands for train, so train passengers between Norfolk and Clarksville. And I got that one set up. And that just goes back and forth. And same thing here, I just set one train on here, and it's just running back and forth between the two. It probably lost money so it didn't start really making money until after running for 2 years. So, that's why I just set it up with one train, because it has to run at a loss for a while. Now I've just been letting it go. And after I did that, I still had, I think that used up my original $2 million was to set those networks up. And I just let the game run kind of on slow speed while I went over here. And I did the same thing with Huntsville and Springfield. Huntsville, looks like Huntsville nope, Huntsville has the 4 stations going on. And then the train station over here, which is on the outside of kind of on the passenger side. Like this is probably the center of the town, so I figure this is the side where I'll put the freight station. But it doesn't really matter so much because you've got a bus network set up to move people around. And then down here in Springfield, pretty sure I set this road in, and I know I set that road in, and have that set up now. I probably should have set my rail to run out of the city from that point. But you know what? There's not really anywhere to go over there, so maybe it's not so bad that I don't have it running out of the city. Right, so I set up a nice little passenger loop here. You can see I've got passengers waiting at those stations, and you can see up here in Norfolk and Clarksville, we have quite a few passengers waiting in those stations. So the first thing we're going to do once we get going here is we're going to put double trains on both of those, which should increase our profits. So that cost another $2 million, and then I took another $1 million or so, and I set up a food circuit here, bringing food into Norfolk, and that's what I did just before I saved this. So it's these are the first 4 trucks I set up to run from here. So it's going to pick up wheat and cattle here, And I had to lay down these roads too. These roads didn't exist, so I set up. You want to try to connect it as neatly as possible. I had to buy a field here, so that's kind of why it curves around those. I don't want to tear those fields out. Um, and this bridge already existed, so I connected to so like this road. I laid down that road, and I used the bridge that already existed, and then I laid down this road, which is quite long, that goes along the river here, and so I laid this whole thing, uh, and I lay my roads pretty methodically, so they can follow the land, and it doesn't really cost that much money. Um, so you know, if you just lay a big long stripe of road, it would cut through this hill here, and I just have the road go over that hill, which saves a lot of money. So then this road already existed going out to the farm here, and I used the existing road along here, and then I'm not taking this food to Cleveland. Maybe I will later on, but then I laid down. It looks like this road already existed as well, so I laid down this road here, which basically goes um, straight to Norfolk. So I like if I had used the roads that already existed, it would have to go all the way. It would have to go through Cleveland and then all the way over here. So I laid down this road. Yeah, it cost me whatever 50, $70,000, but I'm saving so much time later on. You just want to try to set, you know, you're making a triangle. Try to make that triangle with straight lines all the way through. And a lot of times, you know, there's a choice to be made. Am I going to send trucks that are just going to go here and back and circuit between those two, and then set another set of trucks that are going to go here and back and circuit between those two? A lot of times I want to do that, but in this case, I'm doing a triangle route because uh, you know it's gonna increase the efficiency quite a bit. To be honest, it looks like they're spending about 80% of their time hauling product and only about 20% of their time not hauling anything. Whereas if you have them going back and forth, it's going to be 50-50 both ways. And then of course with these little carts, they can carry whatever. So, and again, this code here is O for a road vehicle, F because it's carrying a finished product, and R because it's carrying a raw resource. So it does a raw resource from there to there and finished product to there, and then it's going to Norfolk. So, um, I think that is it as far as that goes. I set up a large I don't know why you wouldn't set a large receiving area, although it looks like I set a small receiving area here, didn't I? Well, I guess one reason you would do it is because you made a mistake. Why wouldn't you set a large one? I guess I can't with. Now I'm confused. But I'm sure I set a large one down here. Looks like it. These controls. Sorry, guys. You're going to get seasick watching this. Yeah, I set up a large one down here. And, like, it doesn't cost maintenance. And why wouldn't you just set a large one? Because it's slightly more expensive at the start. And I think I set a large one here. I did. So this must be a large one, and I just didn't recognize. Nope, that's a small one. Well, I guess probably because eventually I'm going to build a train along here. But for now, actually, I'll probably build the train through here, and then it can do a Y and come back up here. Yeah, so for now, we're going to be using trucks. And basically, same thing, like with the passengers, we're going to get the products flowing around in this circle. And then once everything is ready, I can send a train around and haul it much faster. There's a lot of opportunity in this area for goods movement. We have coal and iron, which we can take to I know there's a steel factory around here somewhere. There it is. We can take to this steel factory, and then we can take steel to this. Actually, there's quite a few options for where we can take steel. We can take it to there it is. There's goods over there. And up here we have whatever those things are, robots and tools. and we have lumber real handy. There's a lumber mill, and there's a lumber source. So we can get a train running from there to there to there, and then we can start providing goods to Norfolk as well, or we can provide goods from over here if that's how we want to do it. So Norfolk has got everything it needs right nearby. Oh, see, look at that wood going there to there, and then from there. Actually, yeah, that'd be great because if it goes there to there, then it can go back up to there, and then back down to there. But your trains, they can't change their consist. So that's when you definitely, with trains, you definitely just have out and back, unless you're lucky enough to have something that uses the same consist both ways. But yeah, it's unfortunately you can't change it when it turns around. But anyways, that's why Norfolk is going to be this center of our. That's the Norfolk Central Railroad. That's what we're going to call it. Unfortunately, you can't name your railroad. Not that I know of. If there is a way to do it, let me know. And I think we're good. So let's get the clock running here and have our little trains and stuff going around. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a dual line on our main rail line here. So we kind of want to go to the center of the line. It's too bad I can't get the zoom to kind of focus. There we go, where we have the whole line. Maybe one more? No, that's all right. So it looks like this is about the center. Maybe more like here. All right, I'm going to say it's going to be right there. So we're going to set up a passing lane here. And eventually we're going to make this a double line all the way down. This basically is going to help us pay for that. So we're just going to build this passing lane here, and we'll just run 2 trains back and forth. But then that'll make plenty of money, and our next step will be to double it out. So laying down rails, or laying down signals is pretty simple. It looks complicated, but it's really not. So you can see here, I have this signal on the right side of the track, and you just place it on the right side of the track, and it will stop. And then same thing with this one. We're going to be on the right side of the track, not on the left, on the right side of the track. And you click it there. And now trains coming up. How do I turn that? I guess I push the escape button is how. So from here to there is one segment, and trains coming up will always go on this segment because this signal's on the right. And from back here all the way up to here is the second segment. So trains will always stay on this side because this signal's on the right. And so trains will stop here if there's any trains in this area until that train gets onto this siding, in which case this train can go forward. So this is a very basic signal setup. More complicated ones are definitely more complicated, but setting up 2 trains to use one line is really simple. The hard part is figuring out where the center is. So the center might actually be more over here. I actually will time it out when I'm playing, but I'm not going to do that here. So we're just gonna guess on that one. It looks like I have my train depot set up here. So I want to wait until that train goes into the town and then back out before I build another train over there. So let's set up our passing lane for this one. And down here, it looks like probably right here is going to be the right area. So we will work with the existing curve. We're going to start here, and we'll split off. And you always want to try to keep your speeds up. You know, of course, our trains can only go 40 miles an hour, 40 kilometers per hour. So it's not really relevant, but eventually you're going to have trains that run 120 kilometers per hour going along these lines. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to keep them that way. On the other hand, these sidings are going to disappear, so there's no point in making 120 kilometer sidings. So let's just make that 75. And then we're going to throw a couple of signals on. It doesn't really matter where you place them. I mean, I could probably place it right there and it'd be fine, but like for realism standards, I like to have them back a little bit because you don't have the clipping and stuff that you run into when you have them at the very edge there. Your trains are going to look like they're going to smash into each other, but they really won't. All right, so this train is leaving this station, and how about up here? Looks like that train is going to leave that station as well. So let's speed it up a little bit, give them a chance to get out. That train must have just gotten to that station. All right, well, I'm going to set this train up here, which I believe means I'm going to have to borrow some money. I've got 900,000, huh? So I'll need to borrow like $1 million for this train. We're going to, unfortunately, I'm trying to think of when the next train comes online. Might be smarter. Well, I could always sell these trains too. So let's go ahead and let's buy that. We're going to put 2 passenger cars on it. And this is, whoops, Huntsville, Springfield, right? So we're going to set line, train, Huntsville, Springfield. There we go. And where is the train over here? Oh, it's just now getting to the station. All right, let's turn the speed up. And that didn't cost nearly as much money as I expected it to. So I can pretty much get this train done. We're going to buy that. We're going to buy 2 of those. And then we're going to set you on Norfolk, whatever, Clarksville. And we're going to do that. I'm going to fix this real quick. So I'd set my options up to where for some reason I changed the close everything key, but I've gotten the close everything key memorized, so I'm putting it back. Keep hitting the wrong button. They have their setup is really weird for their hotkeys. I changed mine. Like pause as the space bar is much more intuitive than the pause key. Who uses the pause key? I mean, I guess Germans. This game is German, right? Kept the game speed thing because you can't do 1, 2, 3. You can only do faster, 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 slower. WASD, of course, and then I left all their rotation ones, which I don't really use, but maybe I'll learn them. I set T for track. I set G for signal, which I need to remember. And then O for road, because you can't use R for road, and you can't use S for street, so I figured O for road. It's the same thing as I use in my the code for naming the trains. Shit, did I set that? I set that other one up, right? The second train up? Yep, there he is waiting at the signal. I set U for the bus station because B is already bulldoze. And I left L for line manager because who cares? I left all the keypad ones the same, except I guess I turned off the data layers for some reason. I turned off all the F1 through 9s and I set those for, there are various HUD icons, so we'll play around with those. But I'm not going to be using like ships and stuff. I might use ships, but I don't need to worry about hotkey toggling those. So you can see there's how trains pass each other at a signal, and eventually we'll be able to look and see how well we've timed out the 2. It looks like these 2 are both reaching the stations at about the same time. It takes a few passes through the signals before you really get an idea of it, because if one train has to stop at the signal, that's not really going to give you an accurate representation of what happens if they both are moving when they hit the signal area, which is kind of what you want with something like this. So it looks like we are making money, which is nice. But yeah. So we're making money this year. That's good. Even though we've got quite a bit of debt. So I'm actually going to go ahead and repay. But, what I also need to do, we have our food triangle going on. Where is our food triangle? It's up here. And so, yeah, these guys have all made it down there. I need to buy more of these wagons. So I don't like to buy as many as you really need all at the same time because they stagger out better than they used to, but they still don't stagger out quite correctly. Um, so I'll just buy 4 at a time, and then I'll wait a little while, and then I'll buy 4 more, and then I'll wait a little while. Um, we need to redesign this bus network, so that means we need to lay down some roads. I like to use medium streets. See, I knew they were going to introduce a new train. So frustrating. It's like 3 months off. Oh no, it's like a year and a half ago. So, well, recalling all of my trains is going to hurt the passenger profit, like the draw of the passengers. I guess I could recall them and well, let's worry about one thing at a time. So actually, now's a good time to buy some more of those vehicles, those road vehicles. And we'll set those to the food line. And I was going to build some roads down here. So this game doesn't work great with the recording software. It seems to cause my recording software to crash a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't happen while we're recording. But I guess the point I'm trying to bring up is that right now the frame rate number is over the top of how much money I have, so I can't see how much money I have. And I will change that between episodes, but for now, I need to figure out what the hotkey is to bring up that screen. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and just borrow $1 million. So I'm at $6.5 million. I can't keep borrowing money because I'm going to need it to have to replace trains here before too long. Let's get these streets built for the city here. Why am I building these streets? Because I want to set a bus loop up. There we go. So I'm going to have, what am I going to do? Have a station here. I guess I didn't really need to build those streets anyways, because I'll probably have my second station here. And then a third station here. Yeah, all right. So that was a pointless endeavor. I guess that's what happens when you talk and play at the same time at a game that you are still figuring out. All right, I did not want to bulldoze. I want to do, what is it, U for bus station? There you go, perfect. So I'm probably going to tear down that bus station. So I want to make sure that I cover the area that that bus station would have covered. And I think those two will do it. And then I'm going to set you up where? Right here? Sure would be nice to catch that whole area. That looks like I've gotten everybody with those. And then we're going to bulldoze just the bus station, not the road. There we go, bulldoze that. And then we're going to go to our line thingy, and we're going to, let's see, we want that green line right there. We're going to add stations, and we're going to move some of you out of the way, and we're going to add that one, and there. We're going to get rid of Locust Street. Great, we've got our new circular route in this town. I believe that means I should buy a few more road vehicles, horse carriages, that is. And I can't see how much money we have, so I'm just going to assume we have enough. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to set that line to the Norfolk Road line. And we're going to close those windows. And that means I need to add some more cars up here. So let's do that. We're going to let's go ahead and buy a bunch this time. And we're going to set that to there, and we're going to delete. And where's the first round of vehicles? So they're slowly making their way back. How did you end up doing? Well, you probably didn't have anything to begin with, so you made a profit somehow. All right, well, that first group of vehicles is getting here. Looks like there was a little bit of food here. There's my third group there. This is group number 4, so group number 1 is coming back around. So I want to try to drop another group in. Actually, why don't I do that right here? Just have them start down here. And we're going to set those for that. And it's hard to believe, but that has been a half hour. So we're going to put a cut in here. I hope you've enjoyed. And looks like we're still making a decent profit. Yeah, we definitely are. So that's good news. Let's hope that continues. And we will find out next episode. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button down on the right. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, this is your first your introduction. I hope you check out what else I have. I'm new to this. I'm sure you could tell. So I'm still kind of setting my channel up, but I have a Rimworld series. The audio in that series is terrible at the beginning. It's really bad, but it gets pretty good around episode 35. So maybe if you just want to start at episode 35, or you can start at episode 1 and suffer through some terrible audio, or you can wait. I'm going to have a new Rimworld series here before too long. I have a Civ 6 series that I'm in the middle of right now. I'm still learning that game, but it's kind of fun to watch. I'm doing pretty well playing as Congo on King difficulty, and that is what I have for series so far, and this one. So I hope you enjoyed. Leave some comments down below. I like talking to people. It's fun. And that is it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.